Okay, so I met Laura in the trenches, and I think all of you that have been advocates have met Laura. She is the bulldog we need. So Laura Reynolds is a biologist with over 20 years experience working in and protecting Florida's ecosystems. With Conservation Concepts, her small, large firm, she helps nonprofit municipalities bring environmental issues into the public eye and bridge the gap between science and policy to better protect Florida's ecosystems and resources. Laura sits on the project delivery team for BBCer and is studying nutrient pollution and seagrass impacts in Biscayne Bay. With Dr. Jim Forquin and Dr. Jennifer Rehag at FIU, currently she is leading the effort to hold the line on development because more of it will impact Biscayne Bay. And moreover, if you're ever looking to form a coalition, call Laura. Please welcome her to stage.
And now I'm really between you and lunch, right? I know we're running super late, but this is a very important topic. I don't know if you can project my slides. Okay, so we did a poll across Dade County and only 10% of the county knew what the urban development boundary line was. And I can tell you it's so important for Biscayne Bay. It is what happens on the land really affects Biscayne Bay. So if we're preserving green space, we can help the water quality for Biscayne Bay. So I'm going to get to all of that, but the 5 things that our coalition really focus on are protecting the Everglades and the Bay, obviously water quality, saving agriculture, actually agriculture as a buffer to Everglades restoration, and having that green space between us and the built environment is critical. If a farm floods for a day, it's not a tragedy. A hospital can't flood for a day. We cannot build all the way out to the edge of the Everglades. We have to have that buffer. Second, preventing flooding. Obviously, these spaces help to absorb rainfall when it falls. We have to make sure we're protecting those areas from flooding and storm surge, and having land in between us and the bay is critical. Also, whenever we focus our tax dollars in the internal part of the city and we're not sprawling, we actually can spend more money on infrastructure. So actually the Hold the Line Coalition was established in 2004. And the chief reason we established the coalition was so that we could stop deferring maintenance on our infrastructure. So if we focus those tax dollars and we keep our developed environment tight, we have a lot more tax dollars to go around. And finally, it makes living affordable to be living more densely, closer to public transit, and not far away from the places that you work. Walkable, bikeable communities are much more successful. So altogether, these things really make a good future community. Now, we are forced by state statute to grow. So we have 2 choices. We can either sprawl out or grow up. And Dade County has to decide to grow up. And that means that we have to hold the line on sprawl. And that's just the bottom line. We have to save that green space. This is a statewide problem, but it's most evident here because we're sandwiched between 2 national parks. And why is it so important in Dade County? Because we have critical well fields that we are living on top of. We also have our SERP project, which is outlined in purple. This is our Everglades restoration project. We have to protect those properties. Currently, our urban development boundary, our comprehensive plan has places where we grow into the future in purple. Those areas are in the exact wrong places. I would argue that we should never expand in any of those urban expansion areas. And people ask all the time, does the coalition never want to move the line? Would there ever be a case where you would want to move the line? The reality is, if we were ever going to move the line, it should be in a place, and I don't know if this pointer works, it should be in a place that's next to infrastructure. Look at this property right here along our busway in Dade County. That's outside the urban development boundary. We should be growing next to our transit corridor. We should not be growing way outside of the boundary next to the Everglades or Biscayne Bay. So you've probably heard about this project. It's been in the news. How many people here have participated at all in the urban development boundary fight that's been happening? Just raise your hand. Okay, not enough of you. And I don't know if you noticed, but Scott and Zach have been passing around little QR codes that are hopefully on your table. There's an opportunity to thank the 5 commissioners that voted against this application. This is an 800-acre industrial facility right in the path of Everglades restoration on the banks of Biscayne National Park. The current condition is farmland. That's what it looks like. And the proposal is to develop the site by raising it 8 feet into the air, which in everyone's opinion would put these houses at jeopardy back here. Okay, so this would raise up the property about 8 feet, causing flooding, causing problems for the pathway of Everglades restoration. And just to show you this image, we need to get water from the Everglades over to the coast. Jennifer Reynolds was just explaining that. This is one of those critical pathways that do that. And look where the property is. It is at the mouth, the watershed of where we could clean and store water before it reaches the bay. So do we need to build an industrial facility here? Absolutely not. This is a choice. We have to decide, are we going to be resilient? Are we going to make the choices? Are we going to uphold our comprehensive plan? And holding the line is really critical to a lot of things. And we have to start connecting land use to the health of Biscayne Bay. And thanking those 5 commissioners is critical. So I'm going to ask you all to scan the QR code that is on your table. There should be 1 or 2 on everyone's table. And recognize that we need to reduce nutrient pollution. This is what Jim Forkern was talking about earlier. We want to see thalassia in this condition and not macroalgae in this condition. The loss of the seagrass in the southern part of the bay can be reversed, and the BBCR project is really important to doing that. This is what we want to see on this site to reduce phosphorus before it reaches the bay. This is the future of this spot. And I will end with this point. The Back Bay study values land at a very high amount. We're looking at billions of dollars to protect the northern part of the bay. Potentially even building out land that doesn't exist there anymore because we developed up to the edge of the coast. So what we have to do in the southern part of the bay is actually protect the land that's there. We can't develop it. We have to keep it there to protect us. It is worth billions of dollars in ecosystem services that we're not thinking about. So we have to take the time to talk to our commissioners, make the connection between land use and the health of Biscayne Bay. And please join our coalition. We are made up of 400 municipalities, businesses, and organizations. We were founded by Friends of the Everglades and Tropical Audubon in 2004. And we are a very strong coalition. Many of the members are here today. And if you want to take a moment, just stand up if you're a member organization of the coalition so everyone can see. Tropical Audubon is here. I know Waterkeeper is here. Oh, come on, there's more than that. You guys should stand up. Dave Dobler is on the steering committee as well as Albert. And we need to be much stronger because this is just one application. There's 4 more coming. So the pressure to move the urban development boundary is intense, and we're going to need all of you to help us make those connections with the Bay. So thank you so much. And I look forward to meeting all of you and connecting you to this coalition. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Laura. Okay, we are going to officially break for lunch.